Harvest Elite is a joint collaboration between Mycogen Seeds, Croplan Seeds, and Corteva Agrisciences. It's a multi-year program that we've had with Harvest Land Co-op and chose to involve farmers where they could compete with yield trials to try to achieve the highest yield.
The two seed brands are both Mycogen and Croplan, equal on both sides, but then Corteva kind of has added in the in-serve part to be able to participate with us and be able to have some programs that join both seed brands together. The way we had Harvest Elite set up in terms of the actual contest itself is that on corn we wanted to harvest 36 rows, 500 feet long, and they could cherry pick the best spot of the field. We had different growers do it different ways. Some kind of got into a section and left it. Others just took the section that they were in, a really good field. In a couple cases, you know, they got pretty detailed on where they wanted to take that sample from. On soybeans, it was 500 feet again by 90 feet, so we could square that up. And again, some people, you know, actually left a strip in the field where we went back and measured. Others would just take it as we were going. A lot of times we'd maybe do one or two different samples while we were there just to see how the crop was doing. But it was very interesting. We had a few that had some other side-by-sides that we went ahead and weighed while we were there. And I think it was a learning experience not only for us, but also for the growers. And there were some guys who typically don't want to do test plots that ended up having some good yield data on their own ground, which I think is the most important.
The Harvest Elite program is just another way to challenge myself. I get to meet a lot of folks that have a lot of different ideas about farming, and I think as a farmer, my mission among many is just to keep educating myself and try to learn more because things are changing so rapidly.
For me as a sales rep to be involved in the Harvest Elite program, it helps me become closer with my growers. It helps me to understand what they're doing, what their goals are, and helps me figure out how I need to help meet those.
The Harvest Elite program has different spectrums of the program. I guess there's an early discount, there's some meetings that we have, but I guess what gets the biggest attention is the yield competition. And with that yield competition, we've got 3 winners on both the corn and the soybean side. We've actually added an in-serve winner on the corn here recently, one of the additions, and the top 3 winners get to go to a warm destination with their Yield Pro specialist in February. So it's become very competitive, and we continue to grow the program in terms of the number of growers participating, as well as the yields keep climbing. Even in this tough, challenging year, I was surprised how well the yields came in.
2019, I think everybody from north to south, east to west at Harvest Land would say that this was an extremely challenging year. Some experienced a lot more challenging situations than others. So, for example, growers that were south of 70 in a lot of cases got 90 to 100% of their crop in. We had several growers actually to the north in our geography. In some cases, weren't able to get a single kernel of corn in the ground. So, with that being said, the type of year that we have does affect a program like that, like what we do with Harvest Elite. But I think in a lot of cases, we've got more entries this year in 2019 than we had prior year, and growers stuck with the program. They continued to go out here and strive for higher yields. And I hate to share the numbers, but I will. We had corn entries in the upper 200s, approaching 300s. We had soybean entries approaching close to 90 bushel to the acre. And that's down a little bit from last year, about 10 bushel down on corn and about 10 bushel down on beans. But it tells me that even when challenging years, we can continue to get high yields out of these fields.
The Harvest Elite program, when it first started or kicked off, we were looking at a program to try to treat our growers differently. We were definitely trying to grow our seed brands, but also trying to maximize yields, put our money where our mouth was in terms of we thought we had some tremendous hybrids in the Mycogen bag and in the Croplan bag. What's been really interesting is to see that program really morph in terms of a lot more than what we anticipated when we first started. And when I say that, I think a lot of people looked at that yield competition as, how do I win on that 1 acre? Well, that has really changed to how do I win on every acre that I farm. You know, farming has not gotten any easier, and I think it's all about maximizing your yield, but also keeping in mind to make sure every dollar that we spend on an input gives us yield advantage. So it's brought that really together, and so many different things that a guy will try to win that yield competition ends up being, hey, I need to do that on more acres next year, or maybe the whole farm. Anything from a fungicide to a Sin to Yield Pro, all those things, or trying a different seed treatment or seed trait. You know, a lot of people are going to enlist for next year. So that was a choice as we go forward. The other part that I've really thought was interesting is a lot of the meetings and the trips become a true forum for these growers to communicate with each other on, hey, this is what's working on my farm, or this is what I'm doing a little bit different. You know, it can be anything from a starter to the, you know, when we decide to go to the field. But what I really see now is that forum has now got a network. So these guys communicate different times of the year, either through cell phone or email, or just give each other a call. And it's really become a tight-knit group on, they really work together. Now they're very competitive. They won't give maybe all their secrets, but they're able to share where sometimes they wouldn't do that with a neighbor.
These guys that get together and go on these trips or get together and go to these meetings, they're not all from the same county. They're not even all from the same state. So the opportunity for them to sit down and visit with a gentleman from another state or another county, there may be some things that they could pick up that they're doing in their operation to help them grow higher yields on their farm.
We had Missy Bauer back this year. We had her as one of our first meetings in the spring. If you have not heard Missy Bauer, we think she's one of the best in terms of planter setup. We'll teach you, if you can't leave her session knowing that, you know, you want every corn plant to have the same birthday and have a picket fence stand, then you didn't listen close enough. But by popular demand, we had her back this spring. We had Schwering's volunteer to let us use their shops. We actually had a planter and she went through it right in front of everybody. It was a great session.
Also, Corteva Agrisciences hosted an opportunity for farmers to learn about the new ENLIST weed control system at our Sheridan Show Farm this summer. Following the ENLIST training, any farmers that participated in Harvest Elite were invited to join us at Top Golf. Top Golf was an excellent opportunity to thank all the farmers that participated in Harvest Elite, as well as to allow them to network with their peers. I think the neatest thing about Harvest Elite as a whole is that it's way more than a yield competition. Some of these farmers have actually become really genuine friends, and they reach out to each other to learn different practices that they can implement on their own farms.
I think the Harvest Elite program has gotten a lot of attention, not just within Harvestland, but some competitors and everything else. So it continues to grow. I think it's one that you'll actually probably see others try to replicate, you know, because I think we truly treat our growers differently, and our growers are having success. And you know, yes, we need to sell more product to justify extra expense, but at the end of the day, if we grow our business and they're growing theirs, you know, it's one of those where it's a true win-win situation for everybody, and that's been the beauty of the Harvest Elite program.